So let's go to the anti-white army, which unfortunately is not the Bolsheviks. Or at least, you know, like the actual Bolshevik party. It is people believing in, well, the same ideology, but this time in the United States. Great. It's actually the American army. Unironically, I'm not just saying this for, like, bravado's sake. We can go into the details, and we are going to. The people who have been running the American army are just openly anti-white. At least those in the DEI department. We'll start off by promoting Frank Dikotter's the tragedy of liberation from Frank Dikotter instead.
The Great Liberation. No,
Yeah.
It wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Tragedy of liberation. Which, yeah, if you want to find out about the Red Army, there's that. But we'll start off with the anti-whiteness, because anti-whiteness is pretty common in the Anglosphere. You may have seen this video making the rounds again.
Oh, yes.
This is from like 2005 or something, where some Afro studies professor was talking about why we need to genocide white people this week.
Any man who names his business Blacknificent Books should not be taken seriously.
But, you know, he didn't get like questioned by the police or lose his job or be ostracized.
He kind of is wearing Confederate colours as well. I wish that he was just wearing a Confederate flag.
Not very dapper. But there's endless videos you may have noticed going around. I've noticed quite a lot where people just keep writing "noticed anything" on a lot of these videos. But
Scott Adams is popping up a lot more than he used to in my feed.
That Spice Lady keeps burrowing around as well, for some reason. But we'll go to the next link here because, well, the U.S. Army insists it needs critical race theory. Remember from a year ago, where you have General Milley, she, him. Over here was insisting that I need to know about white rage and so forth. And then there was the oh-so-popular Two Mums advert, which went incredibly well as well. I think the less said, the better.
Wait,
on that one.
Wait, Two Mums are in this?
Yeah, do you not remember? This was the Intersectional Army advert, where they were like,
No,
you know what I fight for?
I actually don't remember this one, no.
Oh, she was like, I fight for queer rights.
Oh, yeah,
Join the army.
That's what Grandad was fighting for back in WW2.
Yeah.
He was going, I want the right for my mixed race, interracial couple, trans kid to be able to live their life the best they can.
No, I'm fighting for liberty of all. But no, instead it was just fight for intersectional minority rights. You see, I mean, here alone it got almost 5 million views. Got way more, of course, across the internet. And what do you think happened? Well, the Military Times notes that they missed their target for recruitment. Amazing, that. Weird. They missed it by 15,000.
Oof.
It's a 25% short of its goal. The US Army, trying to recruit people. Going well. Started to ask some recruiters in the Military Times, why? Why don't people want to sign up? The recruiters were a bit blunt. One of them said, is anyone surprised that potential recruits, many of whom come from rural or poor areas of the country, don't want to spend their time being lectured about white privilege?
It's a good question.
Something that hasn't gone down the chain of command back to advertising. No, the recruiters just being screwed by that. Although, until now, because they did put out a new advert, which is Be All You Can Be, made a comeback. Remember, this used to be this.
Oh, yeah, yep. They're trying to be inspiring again.
Yeah, they're like, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure anyone did die for the United States for queer rights. I think they died for, you know, liberty for all or something. The Constitution? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. It's been 10 years. We don't know what's going on in the army.
The Constitution was established in 1964 by Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah. Anyway, they say in here, well, just normal things where he's showing off different parts of the U.S. Army's history, and this screenshot here, of course, being D-Day. But whatever you think about military service, I honestly just think about it as it's too late. Because regardless, what are you fighting for? What do you get out of fighting for Western militaries in terms of ideological goals?
Up until the end of 2021, I thought that America had begun fighting for gender diversity in Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, they defined their folders. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they were.
exactly. Yeah, I watched the first 12 minutes of that video.
Yeah, so
I hope you're happy.
this is the thing looking at it, like, you're fighting for a bunch of aristocrats who enforce an ideology upon you that actively discriminates against you. I mean, historically, that's been a pretty good reason not to fight for your nation's army. Like, I'm thinking Austro-Hungary, I'm thinking the Russian Empire, etc.
Wait, are you
It's like-
suggesting that if the country you are fighting for actively hates you and makes it clear that they hate you on a day-to-day basis, does things to undermine you and your people, and then will happily sit back while your people are attacked and assaulted by foreigners and people from different races?
The
You
ruling
might be less likely to fight for them.
Well, it's been a historical norm, so I'm half expecting the American Empire to have the same outcome as everyone else who's ever tried this. It's like,
Maybe.
what if we press these people? They don't want to fight for us.
Speed running the process, aren't they? I'm pretty sure the Roman Empire took took almost 1,000 years to start collapsing this much.
Well, I mean, it happened in the UK. I mean, we can provably show this with the RAF and where recently we've gone over it. Like, they just openly discriminate against white men. This is the provable case, as in, here's a document, don't hire the white men. Pretty simple. There's the systemic problems that happen way before that, so we're already in that territory before we get to this level. So the British military has been doing it for a while. And then we go to the next one, because the Pentagon has had to have a bit of a chat about its diversity and inclusion directors.
Oh, really?
And this is where I'm getting to the fact, yeah, it is an anti-white army. I mean, provably so.
I mean, from a purely practical perspective, the people in charge have to turn this around at some point, because at some point they're going to have to recognise that rural, poor white boys are the largest demographic that they can draw from and find consistently competent recruits.
Well, there's
if they want to keep the power on. At the
it's
end
like
of the
with
day,
the UK,
they're going to need, because the people who are in the army at the moment are eventually going to retire or die. So you need that constant renewal of forces. And if you're going to just do this, you just...
I mean, to put it in like company terms, it's your loyal customer base. Like, you don't alienate your existing customers to try and grow new customer markets, which you're not even sure exist. You've been told, trust me, bro, they're out there, but you're not able to find them for actually getting any money. Instead, you've now abandoned all your loyal customers.
It's not like with large corporations where they're basically too big to fail. If they piss off the customers, then the customers don't really have anywhere else to go but to get the products they're after. You don't have to join the army unless they just decide to go straight for conscription again.
Well, we may see, because I don't know, I don't feel like the Rainbow Brigade's going to work. Here's the headline: Pentagon official forced to read anti-white statements from its diversity chief in congressional hearing. So a Biden Pentagon official was forced to read and explain divisive statements about white people from the DoD's DEI chief, Miss Wing over here.
Kalisa Wing.
Yeah.
Kalisa washes wings, I assume.
So this was a senior Biden-appointed Pentagon official who was here to read this out, so that's fun, I'm sure. We'll read the quote. "I'm so exhausted at these white folks in the PD sessions. This lady actually had the caudacity," it's not meant to be audacity.
Wait, where's this post from?
This is from her Twitter account, to say that black people can be racist too. She had the caudacity to say that. Right?
The cord... Carry on.
"I had to stop the session and give the Karen the business. We are not the majority. We don't have power."
The majority never has power. The power is held in the hands of the organised minority.
I really hate this rhetoric of like the whites are in charge. Oh, shut up. Goddamn people don't do anything, but that's how they think.
And it doesn't even matter if you're not the majority or not even the ones in power. If the people in power are showing you preferential treatment, what's the difference?
I mean, there's a really funny moment. I won't play it because it just takes too much time. This lady's grilling him, and he has to read all of that out. The DEI chief here. He's just like, well, white ladies don't have the caudacity to blah, blah, blah. This lady who was in charge of diversity and inclusion for the Pentagon, she is a keen author as well as such crap as that. She decided to write a few books. Here we have.
I hope her editor helps with the spelling.
What is the Black Lives Matter movement? Racial justice in America. Did we ever talk about what racial justice is? Because we've been over this, but I think it's been a while. For folks who might think about it for a minute, define what individual justice is, and you get getting what you deserve, that individual gets what they deserve. Racial justice is the racial group getting what it deserves. So what do the blacks of America deserve? What do the whites of America deserve?
They deserve Gibbs.
Well, this is the thing. Like, you end up with some horrific answers.
They deserve all of the cornstarch they could ever ask for.
Depending on your biases. I mean, like, we don't even want to ask the leftists of the United States what the Jewish community deserve. I mean, you're going to get some hell of some responses out of that. So, yeah, okay, we are dealing with what we're used to, which is an actual insane person who's been put in charge of diversity and inclusion at the army. What's her idea of inclusion? Well, get rid of the whites. Great. We'll go forward, because there's more of this. How can I be an ally? Okay, ally for what? The race war? Cool. And the next one, defund the police. Being over here. You remember when they tried to claim that Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with defunding the police? Well, the army didn't think so.
Well, I think BLM as an organisation missed the memo on that one.
We'll go to the next one, because there's also her book, What is White Privilege? Apparently she was selling all of these books at a Department of Defense summit as well, which is illegal because you're not allowed to promote yourself.
I'd love if they were selling these at like army recruitment drives at all of the rural white places.
God.
That probably would explain where this 25% drop came from.
I mean, quote from the recruiters, don't lecture them about white privilege. They don't want to sign up. And the person in charge of diversity and inclusion at the Pentagon's like, yeah, but what is white privilege? Here, have a copy.
Here's my lecture on white privilege.
The next one being, what is anti-racism as well. There's also the tweets from her that's just call herself woke, just in case it wasn't obvious. Yeah, she believes in wokeism.
What does the 444... I saw this earlier. What does the 444 mean?
I don't even know.
Is it something important?
Do you want to Google it? Because I mean, it's some retarded nonsense.
I'll Google it. Okay.
But the thing I'm going to play from the hearing is Matt Gaetz, because Matt Gaetz did a really good job. These clips are going to be quite long, but I think you'll agree with me. It's like watching a cringe compilation, where it's long and you keep watching because you just can't turn away from it. Except it's not so much cringe as pain, because you can see the guy in the chair is just caught between a rock and a hard place. That he knows if he says publicly his opinions, everyone hates those opinions, such as white men are scum, white people are scum. They're the only ones who can be racist, as we'll see in a minute. That is actually his opinion. And, well, then what he has to say to keep his job.
Okay, apparently if you see 444 or 444 everywhere, you sense that a divine force is trying to communicate with you. So
about white people?
So she's schizophrenic?
Okay, she's
okay, she's schizo.
Theocratic black nationalist who runs the US Army, the diversity department.
Her and Matt Walsh should have a discussion.
Let's play this first bit.
I would like to go back to the tweets of the racist person that works for you. What does caudacity mean?
I have no idea, Congressman.
You took 6 months to investigate one tweet. You didn't even figure out what the words meant?
I didn't investigate the thing. She's a DOD.
Well, you said in the Fox News article that you were going to take 30 days and investigate it, and it took you 6 months. In a 6-month investigation, you guys didn't learn what caudacity meant? I think you know. I think every person that's going to watch this exchange knows you know. She's trying to lash audaciousness with someone being Caucasian, isn't she?
I have no idea, Congressman.
Wow, what an investigation. When she says PD sessions...
I will say I did not do the investigation. She is a GS employee that's employed by DODEA. Well, DODEA conducted the investigation.
Gosh, the Pentagon told Fox News Digital that Gil Cisneros would provide a final decision in 30 days. So someone at the Pentagon is throwing your name out there as being responsible for this, and now it looks foolish that you're suggesting you don't know what that means.
Well, I would say that
hold on,
that
PD
quote
sessions.
did not come from
let's
me.
Go to this, Mr. Cisneros. What's a PD session?
My guess would be personal development.
Personal development. You don't think it's professional development? Another open matter for the investigation that it didn't resolve. So you don't know what caudacity means. She's obviously talking about professional development there. And like when she says, I had to stop, or let's go to the next claim. The caudacity to say that black people can be racist too. Mr. Cisneros, can black people be racist too?
I've already stated, Congressman, that I didn't agree with her statements.
But I'm asking about that provision. Can black people be racist?
This question is about me or my personal beliefs, but again,
you're the leading official over DEI.
I don't agree.
A racist person who works for you puts out these tweets, and you won't say whether you agree or disagree.
I told you,
Mr. Chairman, I just want
don't
to remind
agree with
members to
her
observe standards of decorum.
This is decorum. It's my time. Can black people be racist?
I do not agree with that tweet.
Do you agree with that statement? I'm asking you a statement. Can black people be racist?
I'm not going to answer that, Congressman.
The Pentagon's opinion is they won't answer the question of whether black people can be racist. White people definitely can be. That's not hard.
Oh, obviously.
But black people, we don't know.
As far as I know, the entire history of the human race has just been white people being racist, but also white people having much more diverse societies than television would let you know.
I mean, just an absolute slimy piece of S, in my opinion, to sit there with a smirk on his face and be like, I'm not going to answer that. Nothing you can do. Nothing you people can do. We're just going to keep running this place in the ground. There's nothing you can do about it. There's one more clip here in which he just continues to be a piece of ass. I can't stand it, but let's just play it. Let's play it.
I will tell you, we do not support racist tweets. We do not support racism.
Well, did you fire this lady?
Again,
you hired her.
As I stated, I did not hire her. As she was,
DOD hired her.
As it was stated earlier, she's a DODEA employee. She's a GS employee. The inquiry that was done, said these tweets were done on a personal matter.
Oh, a personal matter. How do you know it's
it
a
was done
personal
on a
matter if you don't
personal,
know that the PD
and
could
it
stand
was
for
within-
professional development?
and it
Mr.
was
Cisneros, this is a professional development session where she attacked white colleagues and took the position that black people can't be racist. Now, you can't answer basic questions about it, and here's what I would propose to you. This is what we're looking at in recruiting right now. It's fallen off the table. And when you have employees that you don't fire who do racist things and say racist things, then you really hurt the ability to recruit people who want to be part of an inclusive and diverse force.
I would say the data that we have is not, the recruiting is not falling off because of that. But again, the Department of Defense, Dodia, does not agree with the tweets that she made.
It was at 3 o'clock during the workday. You didn't fire her. If someone puts out racist things, do you fire them or do you just move them around?
That was not an official, that's her own personal Twitter account.
Here's the problem with the double standard, Mr. Cisneros. When Caucasian members of the military post about the Second Amendment or supporting building the wall, you all seem to be on a white supremacy snipe hunt. You seem to take people's personal views and weaponize them against them. And I've had people in my district who serve that wonder whether or not some joke that they forwarded or meme that they liked is going to result in the ruining of their careers. But you have no such interest when it's a person like this. You delayed the investigation. Your own name was what DOD put out as conducted the investigation. You delayed it. This lady makes like $160,000 a year. Do you really think today the taxpayer should be paying this lady that amount of money?
The investigation was not conducted by me. That was never...
Well, why did the Pentagon say it was you?
I don't know who the Pentagon in that said that, but I will tell you it was a misstatement.
But Mr. Chairman, I seek to enter...
The investigation was conducted by Dodia because she's a Dodia employee.
Well, if you just fired racist people, then maybe you wouldn't have to go through this. But Mr.
And okay, if you had nothing to do with the investigation, you have no answers to any of the questions that he's asked, why did they send you? What use are you?
Why are you quoted
situation?
as the person who looked it up? It's because he's got nothing. He knows he's got nothing, but he can sit there with his smug little face.
And he can just go, well, I personally disagree. Okay, that's great, but
I refuse to answer the question about whether black people can be racist.
The taxpayer is spending $160,000 a year funding this woman who hates them.
This graph is great as well, as you have in the background. Just since Biden takes office, right behind it, you can literally see it just collapses. Like, the National Guard get treated like crap, given rotten food as they protect the Capitol. Afghanistan happens, and then the two mums, that's your outreach for the military. And, yeah, funnily enough, no one's signing up. And why should they? There's absolutely no reason to goddamn sign up for an organization that does not value you and actively discriminates against you, not only in recruitment and messaging and in the society you live in terms of laws and funding from... I could go on forever and ever. But even within the entire system itself, you've got this lady from the DOD talking about how she can't stand the white woman running her session and has to school her on a audacity. Go to hell. Go to hell. Like, I'm sorry, but this is such rot. And the fact that that guy can sit there from the Pentagon and with a smirk on his face as he just be like, I can't answer if black people can be racist. Scum. Just absolute scum. You're ruining the United States military in record time. You can see the graph, how fast that is.
You know,
unbelievable.
I don't care if it ends up being Trump, DeSantis, or whoever. As long as whoever ends up, it's unlikely. I might be a pipe dream, but as whoever gets in charge of the US federal government, just clears these people out. Drain the swamp, whatever you want to call it. Just get rid of these people.
And Gates put it so well, which is that anyone else could have said, liked a meme on Twitter in their personal time on a personal account, and you would raise hell about it. This lady, what happened to her?
Posey Parker zips up her jacket, and everybody's like, white supremacy!
Can you get the next link? What happened to her? Nothing. Nothing happened to her. Nothing at all. No punishment. She just moved around. She wasn't fired, she was moved around. Just moved to New York.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I mean, these people, they all have the same goals, they all believe the same things, they all got each other's backs. So if you want to make it look like somebody had a punishment, well, you just go, see, out of the public eye now, when really they're just in another position where they're probably even getting paid even more. The only incentive these people have is to scratch each other's backs.
Can you load up the last link I put in there, John? Because there's one more thing I have to say on this, just from the evidence. Which is, I mean, you shouldn't really be surprised as to why she gets nothing happening to her as well. Which is that we can see, well, we look at the Department of Defense, Pentagon Doctors over here. What do they think about the world? Pentagon Doctors claim 7-year-olds can make decisions to be injected with hormones, puberty suppressants. Yeah, of course they can. Yeah, why not? Yeah, of course. Of course the Pentagon believes this crap. Quote from them here. Laws banning transgender drugs assume that gender-diverse adolescents and their parents are incapable of understanding the risks and benefits of gender-affirming medical care, and then deciding what is in the youth's best interests. The doctors continued, prior research has shown that children can begin participating in the medical decision as young as 7.
All right, 7-year-olds can get tattoos. 7-year-olds can get all sorts
Alcohol.
of plastic surgery.
You want to drive? Go
alcohol.
for it.
You want to toke, little buddy? There you go.
You want some drugs?
You want some drugs?
That's right, I work for the Pentagon.
Towley is now in charge of the Pentagon.
Yeah, it's
Your
just...
kids got any drugs?
It's just...
Won't
There's,
get
there's,
high.
you know, there's the Department of Defense for you, the Pentagon, turning up being like, yeah, black people can't be racist, and I want to transition 7-year-olds.
Remember,
Okay,
these people hate you. This is not incompetence. This is not just people being bad at their jobs. No, they just hate you.
This is an ideological position that has been forced upon the country through the universities, and those people didn't stay on the college campuses. They went and got jobs. They went and worked in the government, and they took over the goddamn thing, and are now actively oppressing significant parts of their own population through the myriad of mechanisms I mentioned. And to fight for that, never mind pay taxes to it, is madness. And resistance to that is entirely expected and is the historical norm. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the premium videos we do, so this one on American History X and the narrative therein. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.